You don't have to pretend to be some Superman to make a 7-figure business. You really don't. You really just need to create that content and $1 a day. And that's what we're teaching in this program. I want to know, have you heard of the $1 a day system before? Let me know. I see some new faces and a lot of people we've seen for quite some time, but today I'm excited to talk about the updates to $1 a day. So just give me a yes or a no. Have you heard of $1 a day before? Just to kind of get a pulse of where we are. Put into the chat here. Yes, no, no, Tommy, Abhishek. Okay, no, okay. Yes, looks like about 50-50. Okay. Oh, David M. invented it. You and Al Gore both invented the internet. Okay. And of those of you who have heard of $1 a day, who has implemented $1 a day? So today we're going to cover the updates to $1 a day. $1 a day is something that I believe is fundamental to any entrepreneur who wants to use digital marketing. And it appears to be an advertising strategy, but it's actually a testing strategy. Because as an entrepreneur, you want to find something that's working, right? Maybe it's a particular kind of client that you coach, a particular problem that you solve, a way that you say it, a particular landing page, a testimonial from somebody, a keyword that you rank on, an endorsement from Mark Lack, whatever it might be. And when you find those ingredients that are working, it's like solving a jigsaw puzzle or unlocking the lock. You have the combination. And when you have that, then you scale it up, $10 a day, $100 a day. I'm in Vegas today, and I'm a big gambler, but I gamble in the casino called Google AdWords and Facebook ads. I don't gamble at, the Bellagio or whatever, because that's stacked against us. So I'm going to show you the principles behind $1 a day, how to implement it. And as you guys have seen before, we're going to do some of it live as well to demonstrate that this is something that we do every day, living and breathing. It's not something like you get lucky one time. This works for anybody. It doesn't work only for big brands. So I'm going to show you $1 a day. I'm going to give you all the training that's behind it. If you have a virtual assistant, even better. If you don't, then you can learn to do it yourself and do it at low scale to test, right? Remember, this is a testing strategy. For example, on Twitter, I've made thousands of these campaigns. There's only 199 showing in this screenshot because they limit you from having 200. So I have to keep deleting them to be able to add more. And notice that some of them, they seem to do okay. They spend a few dollars, and some of them tend to do really well. Now, those of you guys who've seen $1 a day training, what is the standard on the internet? Not just on Twitter or Facebook or email, click-throughs. What is the standard that we're looking for to see whether something is even a candidate for being a performer? It's 10%. I want 10% as the engagement rate. So 10% of the people who see my message, they have to like, comment, or share. If I don't have 10%, this is organic, paid, any content you put out there. If I don't get 10%, then something's wrong. And if I'm trying to boost a post, which is what we're doing as part of $1 a day, boosting something we put out organically, and it doesn't have 10%, that's like flooring the car when the e-brake is on, right? So you see these ads, some of them that I thought were pretty good. Like I did one on a knowledge panel. You see this is the second one here, got 1.18. I know the font's kind of small to see this, right? And then you see a little bit below, the first one, the red box, La Gondola, my friend who owns an Italian restaurant in Chicago, 17.5%, because I targeted his neighborhood. And I said, you need to check out this new lasagna they have. And of course, people who are in that neighborhood are like, oh, I've been to this place before. So they click on it. Super relevant. Was it a great ad? No, it was shot on an iPhone. It was a simple picture, a message from Andrew, who's the owner, but it was super relevant. So it got more than 10%. And here's a friend of mine who's a personal trainer and a fitness influencer. You see it says Carson Workout. And you can see with the stats here, 579 impressions, spent $7, 94 people engaged. So 94 out of 579 is 16%. So those of you guys who are not like math people, you might not like to look at this, but it's really easy, right? Is it, 16%, 18%, 1%? So we're constantly looking for 10%. Now that you know this, you can play needle in a haystack. So let's go to my Facebook, for example, okay? And I'm posting stuff all the time and I'm testing. It doesn't matter that I have, almost 1 million followers or whatever. Just look at your data. So here's one. And I talked about the dollar a day. I'm using dollar a day to talk about dollar a day. Isn't that funny? I mean, it's like bald guys that use the hair clip from it. And you can see the insights on this. Sure, it's got a lot of likes, comments, and shares, but what I'm looking for is seeing how much engagement did I get. So 24,000 people saw it, 17,000 reach. The reason reach is lower, some people see it, 1.5 times. So reach is unique people that saw 24,000 impressions, means, 17,000 times like 1.5 is 24,000 impressions, and I got 2,500 engagements. So it's a little bit north of 10%. Isn't that neat? It's like the Fibonacci sequence in math, or if you're a math geek, there's just certain, it's like the golden ratio, right? Or pi, or these magic numbers, and 10% is our magic number. Oh, Tommy asked, what tool is this to monitor the performance? I'm just using the ones from Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of them, but I'm getting north of 10%. Now, why 10%? Because when at least 10% of the people engage, then the social network, Twitter, Threads, YouTube, whatever, they say, this content's good and I should show it to more people, right? So I made this post this morning saying, hey, if you're an author, you can run dollar a day on Amazon to promote your book and get it to #1 in your category. Yeah, 1.618 and all that. Yeah, that's right, Donald. And so I said, dollar a day works for anything. It's like, I don't know, putting salt on everything, except it's good for you. And you can see that 49 people engaged on it, but let's see how many people saw it. So here, 2,300 people saw it. I thought it was a great post. I'm like, yeah, I use this to become the #1 best-selling book in social media on Amazon, ahead of Gary Vaynerchuk and all these other people, using dollar a day, because I saw how many sales he was driving, and I just need to drive more sales. So I use Amazon ads. I mean, more than $1 a day. I think I use like $10 a day to beat him. But it's easy, right? And I thought this is great. Anyone who is a coach or a consultant, I believe, should have a book, and a book helps you get more clients, increases your authority, it builds a personal brand, it helps you rank on Google, it like all these. I think a book's great, and use dollar a day to also be able to say it's a bestseller. So I thought this morning, what a great idea, right? Do you ever have that where you're like, yeah, this is a great idea, my clients are going to love it? But the numbers don't lie, and only 152 out of 2,319, which is about 7%, not even 8%. I mean, that's okay, but really we're looking for north of 10%. And sometimes you'll get 15% or 20%, right? And it may be that of these comments here, maybe some of them are people who would buy. So it's not like it was bad, because I've had some of these things get like 2 likes, and I made $100,000 because the right person engaged. So don't think that the post was a failure, but from a dollar a day standpoint, which is to boost it, to amplify it, to throw fuel on the fire, it doesn't make sense to do that. So I made another one last night. My buddy Ross Franklin, who's the fastest growing smoothie franchise guy out there, I think he's got 100-something locations. Full disclosure, he's a client. And I'm congratulating him. I bought his book, paid for it with my own money, and you can see the results that he has. And this is just about there. Look at how close, for those of you that appreciate math, look, 917, 88. That is right at 10%. That's like right on the edge, right? And you might say, well, why is that? So it's not just I'm looking for things that are north of 10%. I want to know why. So let's go a little further. Here's one. My buddy Sal, who sold his agency for a ton of money, put me on his podcast. When people retire, they like to do podcasts to interview other successful entrepreneurs. And this one did okay, right? But you can see here, I did this one yesterday. I saw The Sound of Freedom with my friends. Regardless of your political views, I said, this is an interesting movie. It's worth a discussion. And you can see all these people they're discussing. These comments then drive more people to come in and engage. Comments are worth 6 times more than a like. So these comments are worth more. These 38 comments are worth more than the 134 likes here, in case you're wondering, which then causes more people to engage. I'm not saying troll people to drive engagement, but this is what the algorithm's looking for. Now, if I go ahead and put into the chat, anyone here, your favorite social network, and I'll show that it works on every single social network. Doesn't matter which social network it is. Now we're going to Twitter, which is now called X. It was the Dogecoin logo before. I'll just show you. YouTube, yep, I'll show you that on YouTube. And Twitter, yep, Tommy. All right, so here's one. 1,000 people liked it, 77 shares, all these comments. That's my pinned tweet. I always pin the one that you think is the one you want people to learn about when they come visit your profile. So here I said, hey, I'm like a doctor in the emergency room that's seen many people. But if you're right, you guys are all authors, experts, coaches, entrepreneurs. You are an expert at solving a particular problem. You've solved it repeatedly, but for clients, it's their first time, so they freak out. So I'm using the analogy on, hey, the good client is the one that trusts the doctor, right? We're doctors. That's the way we think about it. We're, instead of having white lab coats, it's something else that we're an expert in. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in Mark Lack's group. But even though I thought that was a clever analogy, usually too clever doesn't work. Of the 858 that saw it, I got only 11 plus 3, 14. I got 2%. It's horrible, right? I was just too clever. I thought it was great, but it just doesn't, maybe it's the wrong audience, right? Let's see. Let's go a little further. I made a post 2 days ago. We had a Brazilian barbecue, and I said my top photo got 1 million views, and I had Brazilian barbecue. When you see a pattern, amplify it. And this one was also terrible. 1,300 people saw it, only 13 plus 3, so 1.5%. 1.5% for you non-math people is a lot less than 10%. Let's see. How about another one here? Who wants to do a week-long sauna with me? I'm making a joke because in Vegas, the temperatures are like 115 degrees. It's insane. Still terrible. I'm like a horrible comedian, like not working, right? This one, not there either, 2%. But you'll see, but some of them will take off. So if we look at, let's go to LinkedIn. The math, you can't argue. It's like arguing with the scale. I mean, when you step on the scale, the numbers is what the number is, and you need to like actually figure out what you want to, don't get emotional about it. Just understand that this is the data. All right, here's one. So I shared another post about how I hate teleprompters. This is probably a little too niche, saying, don't memorize scripts, but use this cool tool that I like called Descript that fixes your videos if you suck on video. And, some people signed up for Descript. Descript, that they tell me. I'm a big proponent. I'm on their homepage. So I am a little biased. But you can see of the analytics, 2,000 people saw it. I'm not at 10%. What's 10% of 2,000? 200. I'm not at 200. So I'm not saying don't make posts or the post is bad. It's not 10%. It's just not one you're going to probably reuse, right, in many different ways. So this just doesn't hit it. And my demographics are founders, CEOs, experts in certain areas, some engineers, because I was a Yahoo. I was one of the early Yahoo people. But this whole thing about editing videos and teleprompters and whatever didn't resonate with founders and CEOs and whatnot. So, okay, that's not a surprise. But then we go back a little further. And by the way, I'm not worried about stuff failing. I expect that to happen, right? This is 2%, right? I expect 90% of the time, 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to have a winner. But 1 out of 10, you will. And when you do, amplify the heck out of it, right? Here's one that's almost a winner. Look at the engagement on this one. My buddy Larry and the reason why this works so well, you notice? This is broetry. Every sentence is a paragraph. Easy to read, especially on mobile. 80% of that traffic is on mobile. And I said, I hung out with Larry. He's a good friend of mine. And then he showed me this cool tool. I did use some comment baiting. If you want to try out his tool, comment free, and we'll give you 50 free leads. Put the pixel on the website, and it finds the email addresses of all the people who went to the website and then sends an email to them using AI, personalized messaging, which is pretty cool, not creepy. But you can see, right, I'm constantly testing. I'm even looking at other people's content, right? You can look at anyone else's content and see what's winning and what isn't winning. And when you realize that it's about this 10% rule, all of a sudden the matrix opens up to you. You find a winner, and then you say, okay, let me create more content now that I have the signal, because Dollar Day is a testing strategy, right? I'm looking at all the content I put out there. I'm finding these winners, even if I don't know if it's a winner or not, because maybe you're really small, so you have a chicken and the egg issue. Then you just put a dollar a day against just to get some data. Because if you have 20 impressions, it's not enough to tell whether it's a winner or not. So you have a new blog, or people don't come to your website, or you don't have any engagement on social media. Sometimes you have to use dollar a day just to kind of get it going to collect some data. So here, I found one that was a winner, and I just tried to create other ones. This is a course we put out for financial advisors. And I use my lighthouse, who is one of the best known people in the industry. You always want to use whoever is the best known or second best known in the industry to co-create content with, because it creates a lot of authority. Then you can target their audience, which is what I did here. So we built a course. You may recognize Caleb. He started with me 6 years ago or so, was nobody, put his book out, started making a whole bunch of videos, interviewed other people, fantastic job, was on stage and whatnot. And then we promoted him to all the members of NAIFA, the National Association of Insurance and Financial Advisors. It's the largest organization for financial advisors, and he's their keynote speaker and publishes the most. And so I targeted NAIFA, and that's how I got like a 30-something% click-through rate of people who see it. They clicked on it, and then they go take the course, right? Super high relevancy. And I'm using $1 a day to determine which of the messages, like, hey, are you a NAIFA member, or do you want to take here? See, these are the ones we're literally testing. And you'll see how well they perform. It's incredible. It's like cheating once you realize how $1 a day works. Now, so far, I'm just using native tools. We do have our own software that we built, but that's when you start to get fancy. And also for our VAs. Most VAs don't actually understand a lot of what we're teaching from a strategy standpoint. So we have to try to make it, it's like driving the car that at Disneyland where it's on the rails, you can't actually crash the car. That's what we're trying to do. The AI tools are making it easier and easier. So you've probably heard of $1 a day from a Facebook standpoint, and you saw me showing my profile. Facebook made a change where you can turn your profile to a professional profile. That allows you to boost posts from your profile. You no longer have to create a public figure page, even though I still recommend that you do. This is a game changer. You can boost your profile, which was not possible. And you can now see how my posts are doing. This particular post, 5,000 reach, 1,700 engagement. That's 1 in 3. That's 30%. That's fantastic, right? Test it. A lot of people have been testing it the last couple of weeks, and they find it's fantastic. Here's another one. Oh, last 28 days, 43,000 reach, 20,000 engagements. That's not bad. It may be that some people, the reason why this number is so high over a 28-day period is if people really like your content, they will binge your content. So you want to look for evidence of that. And it's always, 80-20 rule, where it's those few people that really love you that drive your business, that pay you the most money in all this. So it's not trying to get cold people to be warm. It's trying to get people that are warm to be really red hot, loyal fans of you. David asked the question, difference in type of content you post to personal versus professional. I'm telling you, it's the same one now. So if we go to my Facebook profile, let me show you both of them. If we go to my Facebook profile, this one, this is me as a user profile, right? I always feature my friends. It's like changing your shirt. I change it every few days. Whoever I'm hanging out with, I put them as my timeline cover, and they get bombarded with friend requests. It's called the Dennis effect. It's what people tell me. But here, this is a profile. You can see clearly it's a profile. You have your blue check mark here, a real one, not the one you pay for. And you'll see these are just my regular posts, and most of them are very lightweight. It's almost all honoring other people, right? Something I'm sharing, like here, hey, did you know you can run an ad and do a knowledge panel, right? I'm sharing knowledge. I'm not making any offers, right? I'm just sharing what other people I love, right? This guy, Joe Graysbury, he runs a multi-7-figure agency. He's got SEO Content Hero, a fantastic agency. But here I'm honoring him because the guy lost 45 pounds in the last 6 months, which is fantastic. Look, he's like fit and skinny. It's fantastic. Look at his pictures from before, right? And I'm just honoring other people, right? And he's saying all these good things, and I'm saying good things. I'm not saying anything about digital marketing or how our VAs execute the content factory or the analytics software that we built. There's no promotion. Well, this is the closest one to promotion you're going to get on my profile. I'm honoring one of my coaching clients, my buddy Ross, right? And inside our coaching group, he said, hey, I had a one-on-one call with Dennis, and it was gold. He's really good. We were wasting a lot of money on Google Ads. And he honored me here. And I said, thank you so much. I'm so glad, we put our courses out there. We put as much training out there for free as we can because it works both ways. People can get all our stuff for free, like you have right now, but people can also get help from us, right? So this is the irony, make your content free. All this is true for all of us that are experts, authors, consultants, coaches. Put your knowledge out there, put it on YouTube, whatever. There's no secret, just put it out there. And the people that want to pay for your time to implement, they will, right? There's no need to like try to convince somebody, just like they can go consume it for free. But some people are, I'd love to have Dennis and his team look at this stuff. Like this guy here, Tanner, he is not an affiliate, but he posted this a couple days ago. The easiest way to grow your brand: post organic content consistently. Yep. Identify top posts. Yep. Put $1 a day behind it. And then all these people are saying, yeah, this is great. I've been using it. It's fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. Look at all these other people that are saying about it, right? And some are like, I've never even heard of this thing before, right? So to your question, David, I'm not thinking of it in terms of professional versus personal content. I'm thinking of value. And it's not, I mean, some people think social media is just for, close family and your kids, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I believed as of 15 years ago that you live publicly. And like you could see here, like you can even see these messages. Like here, all these people, like Tanner Chidester. He said, hey, I'd love to work with you, and I've got a question. Can you help me get a knowledge panel? And blah, 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 blah. Like, this is great. Like, this is the guy who just out of the blue made this post and promoted me. And now he's signing up to be a client. I didn't say, hey, let's hop on a strategy call, or let me tell you why, try to convince you using sales tactics. Like, the guy's a sales pro. He teaches other people how to sell. So if I can sell a sales pro, then I'm not even using sales tactics, right? But you see the content here is kind of, it's both personal and it's professional. Look at these posts. They are 95+% of them are honoring other people. Full disclosure, this is a client too. Everyone I'm showing you is a client. So these guys run a $10 million agency, and they have, I don't know how many now, 300 VAs out of Pakistan. It's fantastic. I coach them, and we help them run their ads, and they have a whole team now. And here I'm sharing his share. So I don't have to be this self-aggrandizing, braggadocious, pompous, egotistical kind of dude, because I'm letting my customers do the work for me. Look, getting to hang out with the man, Dennis, always good time, right? So then I'll share that. Actually, I didn't even share it. Shame on me. I need to click share on that, saying, Luke, it's so good to see you, man. Love seeing how you've grown from nothing a year ago, and now you're at $70,000 a year. I think I put that in the comments. Did I put that in the comments here? Let's see. I think that's what I said. Yeah, and then I linked to the video interview I had of him on how he grew his agency and what advice he has for other young adults that are just like him. It's great, right? This guy's from the Philippines, Ruben Lacer. He's got a huge agency of creatives from the Philippines. And I said, I love my Filipino brothers. And you can see, got the incredible opportunity. I know it sounds sort of pompous for me to read like all these things people are saying about me, but you should do the same thing for your stuff. Look, attending these events. This was in Miami a week ago. I fly a lot. I have 6.5 million miles. Only pilots fly more than me. But, here he is saying this. Now his audience and his clients and whatnot know who I am. So $1 a day is largely second. See the boost post button here? This was not possible. You have to, when you change your profile, there's no downside to convert your regular personal profile to a professional profile. It gives you analytics and the ability to boost the post. You see that? And I'm honoring other people. Here's Taylor Welch. He's a buddy of mine. I've known him before he got famous. And I'm sharing his content, and he was also on my podcast. And so then, Taylor comes in, love you, brother, blah, 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 right? Also, my content here, look, I'm showing what's working. I tested posts on Tumblr for $1 a day. It sucked. So don't do it, right? I'm showing winning. I'm showing failures. I'm showing my friend Heather, who ran social media at GoDaddy for a number of years, and how awesome she is. And then all these other people are commenting. And then these are industry leaders in the world of digital marketing, which is where I am. There's all the, like, this guy runs community at social. This guy runs Influencive. I'm not going to name drop. This guy runs the Social Media Marketing World Conference. Like, these are all the people that I want to know, right? She runs marketing for Social Media Examiner. Like, there's all these other people, and you can look up who these other people are and see who they are. Like, this is like the kind of, this is like winning the lottery. But look at what happened. Nowhere here did I say anything about how awesome I am or my services. What I'm doing is I'm honoring Heather. I said, look, people would ask me, how did I hold all these masterminds at GoDaddy headquarters? I'd hold these 3-day masterminds, charge a lot of money, invite high-level entrepreneurs. You know, they pay 10K or whatnot to come out to 3 days at GoDaddy and all these other, you know, my own little guest speaker thing, just like Mark runs his thing, right? And people are like, how'd you do that? Like, you can't just go pay GoDaddy to rent their facilities. It's because I've known Heather for 15 years and I'm honoring her. And she's such a humble person. So I'm going to go ahead and brag. In fact, I wrote a blog post about her. And then I flip it to the audience by saying, there's so many Heathers in my life. And it's amazing, right? And there's other, you know, who are the Heathers in your life? And I see other folks like Kimberly and Kim Reynolds and Kim Grimes as also being next in line, right? As like Heather. And this is when Heather took me to a basketball game, NBA, the Phoenix Suns NBA basketball game. And this is, you know, all these pictures of she and I being all over, you know, I'm showing this heartfelt appreciation for her. And then she comes in, says all these amazing things. All the other people in the industry are coming in and saying amazing things, right? Oh, we've been through some hard times. The world's a crazy place. Thank you for hyping me up. And then she messages me privately and says, thanks. That's, you know, that's exactly what I needed today. The universe must have like reached out and, you know, what prompted you? And I said, no, you were on my heart, that I just felt like I needed to say this about you. It's been so many years. And so is this a personal post? Is this a professional post? What kind of post is this? What do you think this is? I want you to see kind of the angle that I'm using here. I'm honoring other people, and this makes me look good without boasting. Right? It's a human post. That's right. Yeah, Leanna Ling. This is whatever, a couple weeks ago. She's the CEO of AdSkills. AdSkills is the largest Facebook advertising community out there. She's a client, right? Full disclosure. And then look at what she has to say.
Needs no introduction. I present to you, I'm so excited that Dennis Yu is here with me today on this Friday. How are you, Dennis?
So then she's already said all these great things about me. So do you guys see this? You never need to do your own marketing. You don't need to say, I don't need to do my marketing anymore. Type that into the chat. I want to see you, because I think I'm just talking and I don't know whether people are getting it. I don't want to do my own marketing anymore. You don't have to do your own marketing. We are way past the VHS tapes and black and white TVs. Let's get with it. So why is it? Put into the chat or just speak up. We can unmute you, or maybe you can unmute yourself. Why is it that you don't need to do your own marketing anymore? Because of, you know, why is it with things that have changed in social media and digital and whatnot? Why don't you have to do your own marketing? I mean, you got to do your own marketing, right? I mean, I have to generate leads, and otherwise, you know, I'm not famous like Dennis, and all these people are not going to come to me like this. I don't have millions of followers. So I'm asking, not rhetorically, I'm asking a real question. All of us friends of Mark Lack here. What's behind, it sounds ridiculous what I'm saying. You don't need to do your own marketing. Why is that? So I see some good answers of warm. Oh, because you'll do it for me. Yes, Cheryl, I might. The best marketing. Yes, that's right, Donald. The best marketing is done by others. It's based on relationships. Yes, Tommy. If you help others and give value, they will promote you. Abhishek, we buy from people. The more you give, the more you benefit. Yep, golden rule, The Secret, reciprocity, all of that. Connections, spreading value and giving. Yeah, that's right. Okay. If that's the case, if you know that there's way more credibility in having your clients and your community and other people promote you, why aren't people doing this? Like, how many of you guys in this group are doing that? Letting other people do the marketing for you. Why not? Why not, David? You're in agreement because you don't have any clients. That's the other David. All right, well, let's talk about that in a minute. How many of you guys are, just so I get a sense of where you are, because I missed Dennis's calls for way too long. Yeah, I'm teaching the basics here. Am I teaching anything that's like way out there, some like hack, some like trick that I just learned? Or these are like fundamental principles of being a good human being? And yeah, okay. Now, before we go into the next phase, I want to know where you guys are at. Are you at the I don't have any client stage? Are you at the I have a few clients? I'm just trying to grow and it's mainly just me? Or are you at the stage where, I'm starting to have a thriving business and I'm trying to scale and my time is being booked up and I'm dealing with operational issues and hiring and like where are you? Just so I know, like put into the chat where you are. Solopreneur. Okay. And solopreneurs can get to $250,000. You'd be surprised at how far you can go without having any expenses. And some days I wish that I could have been a solopreneur because I look at payroll every 2 weeks. That is a lot of money. Wow. I'm like, man, if I was a solopreneur and all that money was being paid to me instead of all these people, wow. I like, dang, that I see a lot of money coming in, but I see a lot of money coming out. There's usually more money coming out than's coming in. That's scary when payroll's $250,000 and you see how like these are all like VAs and other people and I'm happy to pay them and all, but man, some days I wish it was just me. Okay. Okay, so I'm reading all your comments here. All right, so let's talk about some things that will help those of you who are relatively new and building a personal brand. And I'm not saying build a personal brand because you're trying to be famous, but because you're trying to get your first few clients. Okay. Yeah. I see Ashley's like, yeah, I'm not trying to become TikTok famous. I'm trying to grow my business. And I know I need to be on social media, but I'm not going to be singing and dancing. I'm sure Ashley can sing and dance better than I can. Sure, Bally can sing and dance better than me. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the PowerPoint I put together for you. So professional profile. Do that. Convert your thing to a professional profile so you can boost dollar a day. Posts, but you need to have the right posts, right? You can boost your pin post, and I'm showing how to do that. You can boost on Twitter. You can boost on YouTube. You can't boost other people's posts, which is a rule that frustrates me because I love sharing what other people have to say. But you can take a screenshot of their thing and boost that. I've done that. LinkedIn, see, make a public figure page on LinkedIn. You have your LinkedIn profile, but you have a company called your name, right? Just like you have, so there's actually 3 things you're controlling on LinkedIn: your company name, your regular LinkedIn profile, and then a company called Dennis Yu, right? And this one actually works super well. Look, this is a page. This page is getting tens of thousands of people viewing it and consuming content. Same thing on TikTok, 10% rule, right? Look, I'm a nobody on TikTok, just to show you just like how basic this is. Let's go to TikTok, okay? I am the last person. I do not sing and dance. I go to TikTok. I'm just trying to see. See, now they know I love eating steak and I love doing the trampoline park, and it's always like showing me the stuff. $1,000 ticket. Here's my profile. I've only got 2,000 profiles, but as you saw this, I made this in this Personal Brand Accelerator Mastermind, our Tuesday calls. I did this like a week ago or so, and I showed, hey, here's a photo of Mark Lack and I from years ago, and here's how, I'm so appreciative of Mark Lack. But look, this is my man Mark Lack, and in 2015 he gave me a copy of his book, Shorten the Gap, and I am so proud of Mark. Over the years, he's implemented dollar a day. I'm teaching the dollar per day strategy right now to an awesome audience. Just say hi to Dennis, guys. Isn't that cool? This is so like Inception, a video about a video about a video. But you can see, there's Bally. Remember Bally? We're all on camera. And I can see the analytics on this post. Okay, so how did we do? 7,000 people saw it. I did not get 10%. That would have been 700. Probably because I didn't edit it. I didn't choose the right hook. The first like 2 seconds is important. They didn't stay. You can see, right? Average watch time, 2.9 seconds. and it just didn't get traction. And it only got one comment and 29 likes. So I mean, it's my fault because I was just sort of making stuff up on the fly just to demonstrate that I can make a TikTok because Dan Euland wanted me to make one, or he chose TikTok. So I didn't hook them. And therefore, once you hook them, like you need to have, 10% plus of the people actually engage initially, watch for a few seconds, and then say something that causes people to comment or make them think. And I didn't do that, right? I was good. I mean, I was still honoring Mark Lack. So 7,000 people saw it, but that didn't work. But anyway, the point I'm making is that you don't have to be huge. You'll see these posts that I'm making. Some of them, it's about me as an entrepreneur, or like this. I brought a giant bottle of water through TSA because I said it's medicinal. I do this all the time. Or here's, I'm with my buddy Shep Hyken. We're at the tallest monument in the world. Who would have thought the St. Louis Arch was the tallest? But, or with clients, or I'm just learning things over time. And some of them they take off and some of them don't. And you just never know, right? The most nothing sorts of videos, like this one's 49,000, this is 200. Oxygen baths. I think oxygen baths are amazing. Other people are like, why does Dennis keep doing all these oxygen baths? Right? So I'm putting a lot of stuff out there and I'm trying to see what resonates. This one did pretty well. This is with the founder of Social Media Examiner, Michael Stelzner. And I can dollar a day that. That builds my authority. If I target his audience, if I take this content and I repurpose it or cross-post it to Facebook and Twitter and TikTok and YouTube Shorts, then it might not win on TikTok, but it might win on Facebook because he's bigger on Facebook and his audience is probably not on TikTok, even though social media people should be on TikTok, but they tend to be 40 to 50. So they're not on TikTok generally, right? I give out socks and I think that's awesome, right? So there's my friend Carrie Kasem, and she flew to Vegas to celebrate my birthday and sing karaoke. Isn't that amazing, right? So I'm constantly sharing these things and the majority of them are failing, but some of them win. And when they win, I put more money against it. That's the thing to know, right? Every single channel, you see this. Some win, the majority do not. And this is the whole thing where I'll say like failure is, I mean, I know the entrepreneur's like, oh yeah, it's okay to fail. Keep getting up. I hate to fail, but I know that I just need to find one of these winners and then it'll just live forever, right? There's so many of these. Okay. So notice that the common thread, if you're not a big deal yet and you still are working, and this is kind of a side job, you're trying to get your agency, consultancy, coaching thing off the ground, easiest thing is to interview other people and leverage their audience. I see so many people just making content because Gary Vaynerchuk told them to, and they just keep, it's just sad because you see them do it for months and months and months, hoping that they're just like, one day away from winning or one funnel away or whatnot. But look, you do a search on Dennis and you see this internet personality. It was an author before. I got to switch it back to author. When people know who you are and you have something like this show up where it has all your socials and whatnot, right? It has your top videos and top all these things, then this is what drives clients because they know, like, and trust you. My clients, even though I help the top people in digital marketing who are the experts that teach the experts, they don't hire me or work with me because they can objectively determine whether I'm the best. I'm an engineer. Not many engineers can actually determine whether my code is good. Actually, the engineers on our team can say my code is terrible, but they do it because they trust you. So the easiest way to generate trust when you don't have any clients is you interview these other people on your podcast. Say, hey, this is the Sunny podcast on X topic, and we interview experts in this topic about how they achieve this particular thing, which is what you do, and you interview people who do it better than you. Yeah, so Jack's saying, how do you boost videos on YouTube? Set up Google ads, and YouTube is part of Performance Max. Everything's in Performance Max, which goes across all channels, kind of like what Facebook's doing. Okay. What is your advice on how to get to influential 100 people to interview you? Very easy. I'll give you the same thing that Mark Lack and Steve Sims says. Ask them. Merely ask them. Yeah, it's that simple. And when you do, I mean, a lot of them, fine. You ask Elon Musk or Gary Vaynerchuk, and he says no. Okay, fine. But it's really simple. You just ask, and then Mark likes to say, which he also learned from me, is I guarantee you 10,000 views of this podcast. I'll be in and out in 40 minutes. And what you do is when that podcast comes out, you repurpose the heck out of it. You post on multiple channels. You can use tools like transistor.fm that integrates with Descript if you want to get into that area. It's not super hard to edit these videos. The transistor just automatically pushes across all different channels. And then you boost it. You boost it to their audience. So if I've got an interview with, actually, I'll show you one. We haven't published it yet. John Assaraf. Yeah, John, I've got one, John Assaraf. John Assaraf. Look at this. So I flew to San Diego and I said, hey, John, I want to interview you on success and how people shoot themselves in the foot. And, what advice do you have? And what was the most difficult part about, changing your mindset and all this? And there's the interview, and it's been cut up. I think we had like 3 hours of content. It's been cut up into so many different pieces, like, can I just work harder and get my way out of it? You can see, like,
why is it myth that we all need to work harder as opposed to retrain our brain?
Well, we've been taught, that working hard is the answer. Firefighters work hard. Police officers work hard. People trying to solve a Rubik's Cube may work hard, but sometimes working hard is the worst thing you can do. Sometimes you need to work smarter doing the.
See, all you need is one good interview. Okay. If you don't have the one interview, like, just get the one interview. Interview Mark Lack, put me on your podcast, whatever it is, like, interview other people here. You don't start with an A-list person for your first one because you're not ready, right? You want to start to get your skills to be better, but literally just interview some people that are reasonably, like, medium well, that are expert in an area, but maybe aren't even well known. And then once you get 4 or 5 of those under your belt, then you can reach out to other people and go one step up and say, hey, I've interviewed so-and-so and so-and-so and so. I'd love to interview you. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, if Ashley O'Shields has interviewed so-and-so, then clearly, she's in my space, right? Tommy says you'll need to have some audience first. No, you don't. You do not need to have any audience because you use $1 a day. Evan Carmichael, maybe. I would start with a couple folks before that, but you could ask. I mean, the worst you could say is no, right? It's not devastating. People say no, and they'll be polite. They're like, oh, well, not right now. I'm really busy or whatever, which means no. But you can get them, right? You don't even have to ask Dennis. You can come to ChatGPT and say, I want to interview Evan Carmichael. Who are people similar to him that might be more amenable to someone who is new at podcasting? And start to make a list of these people. Oh, not Tom Bilyeu. No, that's even Lewis Howes. No, that's even harder. Stop at ChatGPT. No. I mean, easier to get on my podcast. These people are too famous. See, you can talk back to the robot. It won't get mad at you, right? Oh, yeah. Mike Michalowicz will probably say yes. Dory, yeah, okay. Yeah. Copy. Yeah, I mean, Brian was a bigger deal a long time ago. He'll probably say now. Yes, now. Yeah, I see. Okay. Yeah, these are all. Yeah, Naveed. I'm sure Naveed's a big deal, but I think he would say yes. Yeah. See that? What do you guys think about that? Yeah. Pretty cool, huh? You could literally say, like, I'm new at coaching and don't have any clients yet, still have a full-time job. Well, what would Dennis you say about how to implement the $1 a day strategy to get my first few clients. What would Dennis Yu say? WWDS. What would Dennis say? Of course, yeah, I have a niche, create content by co-created content with podcasts and all this and promote it for $1 a day, largely on Facebook. Easiest place to start, and try it on multiple platforms, right? And then get people to sign up to have a free coaching session. Yeah, and retarget them, meaning you get their email address and you send them more stuff, so you retargeting. Yeah. Wow. I mean, freaking ChatGPT put me out of business. Why not just go ask ChatGPT? I mean, it freaking knows. It knows, right? Can you provide a few links to more information backing up what you just said? I'm talking to it like a friend, like this colleague of mine, not some robot, okay? Like some friend of mine who just happens to have absorbed the majority of the internet and has read every single book and watched every video out there. Like, yeah, here's some links to how to do this, right? Wow, look at all that. Wow. It's like it remembers things I don't even remember. I mean, you can't beat the machine. I mean, the machine just freaking knows everything. Okay, I'm getting old now. Even I don't remember all these. Yeah, for coaches, yeah, there's one for coaches. Even I forgot about that one. Huh, those are pretty good. And then you come here and you Google Dennis Yu and you see like all this stuff here. So you can start from nothing. You don't have to have a ton of people following you. You don't have to be as good as Mark Lack. Mark Lack is so shiny and so well polished. I never see him stutter. Wow. I think he's so good. It's almost like discouraging. It's like seeing Steph Curry shoot 3-pointers. You're like, I don't even want to learn basketball now. He's just so good. It's just, I don't even want to try now. Let's see. David says, I'm a solopreneur, need to build my personal brand to promote my 246-page Green Actioneers Family Action Guide coming out in the fall. All right, let's go take a look. All right, Mr. David Finnegan. Green Actioneers. Oh, well, there's an error on the site, Dave Finnegan. At least it's WordPress. But they're going to Google you anyway first before they look at Green Actioneers. So is this you, David? Recreational juggling equipment?
Yes, that's what I used to do, but now I'm doing green action to get everybody excited about going green, saving money, saving energy, and saving the planet.
Okay, good. Now you see you have a knowledge panel here? You see this? You have a stub of a knowledge panel. You don't have a full knowledge panel.
Okay.
And you have stuff with Google Books. So authors are the easiest way to build your brand. You have all this juggling, right? But now you're trying to do this Green Actioneers thing. So do you have davefinnegan.com?
I own it. Yeah, I haven't used it yet.
Well, you need to get that going to tie everything together.
Yeah.
So that way you can, it's not that you're trying to get the people who know you for juggling to now want to do Green Actioneers. What is Green Actioneers real quick?
It's a book for elementary and middle school families so that the kids and parents can have 100 things they can do to go green. It's kind of like, what everybody's wanted all along, which is, what am I supposed to do? And so it's coming out in the fall, and I need to get organized to
Oh, here it is. Okay, good. Well, you gotta get that website fixed. Do you have other people? This is the catch-22. So anyone who does coaching, or here you've got this program, Green Actioneers, where you have a book or other stuff that's related around the knowledge model that you have. Do you have other people that can talk about this?
Oh, yes. I just came back from 3 PTA conventions, California, Texas, and Florida. And I've got 400 moms who signed up to be my friend. And so I've got to get back in touch with them and get them to start talking.
Okay. I misspelled Green Actioneer.
E-R-S, yeah.
Yeah. So can you interview them on your podcast? The Green
I don't have a podcast yet. The best one is Green Actioneers Program for Your School. It's 8 minutes and it tells the whole story.
This is your thing right here, right?
Yeah. I'm going to clean it up.
Okay. So everyone here, look at what's going on with Dave. He's, you know, promoting his thing, TED Talk. That's cool. You're a certified speaker. Awesome. But what was the main thing that we were talking about today? What's the main point of what we were talking about today? And what did I have everyone put into the chat?
Yeah, using other people's contacts to.
Yeah. So who do I see here in all these videos?
Yeah, me. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's not going very far.
No,
Why is it going very far?
Yeah.
I mean, you have these moms and all this, and you meet people in person, and just by the force of your program and who you are, you're getting some traction. But if you really want this thing to work, you want $1 a day against co-created content.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then put it on other channels, put it on your website, repurpose like we were showing here. Do $1 a day to test what are the stories of these moms. I guarantee you, when you put out, you know, 30 or 40 of these little mom stories and just interview them for 15 minutes each on Zoom, ask them about their kids, ask them about these different activities. You have this, guidebook with like 100 activities or something?
Yeah, 100 activities that families can do to save energy, money, and water.
So there's each one of those is a great example where people can show how they did this one activity and what the impact is and what the bigger lesson is about the environment and all that, right?
Yeah.
So many stories. You should be the ultimate story collector. And that's what all of us are doing. Notice that I was showing you like what I'm doing on my social media. I'm just collecting stories and honoring other people.
Yeah.
And let them be the ones who hold up this workbook and all this, right?
Yes.
I know you're jugglers, so you're doing this juggling, but that's cool. Maybe that's good attention getter, but the juggling doesn't seem to be working here, at least based on the stats. I think it's clever, right?
Yeah, no, it's not what I do anymore. I did that for 30 years. I went to 2,000 schools.
Yeah.
But I learned schools.
Yeah.
So now it's time to use that knowledge for something useful. I sold over 1 million juggling books.
Wow.
Sold 1 million juggling books. Just think what I can do with something really important and useful.
Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Yeah. So you should definitely go through the stages that we teach in $1 a day, which is largely tied to your own personal brand. It's all tied to your personal brand without you having to ever work on your personal brand. It's this here. So you're producing some content, albeit not co-created content, where you're honoring other people. That's the purple here. Then you can process it using these different tools or hire VAs or go to Upwork or Fiverr, right? We all know how to do that. There's other episodes here inside this coaching, you know, personal brand accelerator where I show how do you hire VAs and how do you hire people on Upwork, right? Pay someone like $50 to edit a bunch of videos. Then you publish across multiple channels. A VA can do this as well, or you can do it initially just to make sure you have the hang of it. Or if you're a solopreneur and you want to save money, then do it yourself. Or just have a VA for $500 a month full time that does this whole thing for you, which includes promoting for $1 a day to test, to then find leads, get more people to buy your book, more people to sign up for discovery calls, more people at each stage of your funnel. So that if you do this first stage properly of co-created content with other people who live and breathe what you do and can demonstrate the fruit of your program, this is for all of us here, not just for juggling or green or for any of us. We are driving a particular result with our coaching. Interview people who've had this result. Now, if you've not driven this result, then you need to be creative. I'm not saying lie or mislead, but interview other people about their expertise and how they drove that kind of result. They're not competitors. In fact, the people that you think are competitors are actually your friends and best allies. When you do this content, this is how you then drive all the media and podcasts and whatnot, books, all the people that you know. I'm a living, breathing practitioner of this. I'm not just like preaching at you. And you organize all your content according to the structure of the topic wheel. These people that you interview, you're interviewing them about a particular topic. The topic ties back to the program that you coach. So if, based on the result that you drive, which is the thing in the middle of your face, there's no like and trust. What are the topics that you would have to be knowledgeable about that credibly makes sense to be able to deliver this result? Think about that. Who are the people that are credible in those topics? Co-create content with them by just getting on a 15-minute Zoom with a good microphone, please. So then you can repurpose all this content and then have all these great, not endorsements, but trustworthy value. I know a lot of people say like value, and it's some vague thing. But when we say value, you're showing how to achieve a certain result. How so-and-so achieved this result, you know, using this tactic. or this set of steps. You see what I'm saying? That's not a testimonial. And that's what Mr. David can do. And so when you have a ton of content and you put it together and you map out your network, then you have your 3x3, which is the top at each of the 3 parts of the funnel. Why, how, and what, right? Why, you're sharing stories, large other people's stories. How, you're showing your expertise. How do you do this? How do you do that? How do you explain this, right? This is the meat of the sandwich. There's a bun on the top and a bun on the bottom. And the bottom, the what, is the call to action. It could be, hey, come join my $1 a day coaching program. It's 6 weeks, $2,500, blitzmetrics.com/DAD, like mom and dad. You can go through the courses for free, or if you want coaching from me and want me to personally look over your shoulder, then this is our program. But feel free to do it for free, but you don't get my time, right? But you have all the training, Google me, ask ChatGPT, all that's for free. But we have a coaching program too for some people who want to do that, right? To make sure it gets done. So that's an example of a what, but you should be able to segment all your content and the why, how, and what. When you interview other people, you can also segment that content, that 15-minute interview, 1-hour Zoom call, and chop it into pieces that fit this particular framework, right? And that ties with your topics and structures all your content. So it's not driven by, you know, a calendar, which is the most ridiculous way to structure your content, but driven by these topics. Okay. Let's see. We have some other questions here. Who's Chow DZ? Dennis, there's so many young people blowing up. Is that because they're better promoting on social, making content? I think it's because they just make content and they're just there. They're more likely to create, but just because you see young content creators doesn't mean that us older, more experienced folks are not lurking. So the average age on TikTok has gone from like 19 to 35 or something. But that's the people who are consuming the content. The creators still tend to be younger. Yeah. Ashley says, I closed my brick and mortar and sold my house to have the money to take the time to build this new online business. High ticket, good. Detailed and individualized program for families with children of ADHD or behavioral issues. Made a super families website and Facebook business page. Yeah, when you're selling high ticket to parents who are higher net worth, you have to elevate the other parents and tell the stories, because these parents will do anything for their kids. And I met someone in Seattle this past weekend who does this. In fact, they have 4 locations. The Stoll Learning Center. They're $110 an hour, and they're growing through referrals. It's all parents, word of mouth. It's not through traditional advertising, but reviews and all that do matter. And we can see like their thing, Stoll Learning Center. You can see what they rank on. Their SEO is kind of weak, right? They rank on their own name. Learning disabilities, right? Same kind of thing. But it's all based on the stories of other parents. You know that. Let's see what you have. Super Families CEH. I got so many tabs open and my battery's running down. Let's see. Yeah, so this is great. You have the stock art of all these photos. I don't think these kids. I don't think they're real, are they?
It's Canva.
Canva, okay. But you don't rank on anything.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how to rank because I don't know.
You're not doing what we're talking about, which is interview other people, interview these other parents, uplift these parents. You know, Dan Hewlin does the same thing.
I don't have any parents yet. So I closed my other office, which wasn't focused on this, my pediatric office. And so now I'm focusing on this. So I don't have any testimonial people yet. There's my biggest problem.
Okay. Well, that's the chicken and the egg. You got to get your first one. And usually through your own personal network is how you get your first one, because, you know, every heart surgeon had to have a first patient, right? You never want, what do they call the medical student who graduates last in medical school?
Yeah, still MD. Yes.
Doctor, still doctor. Yeah, but you don't want them to operate now, do you? But that's okay. And some people don't like to do this because of their ego, but I'm a big fan of, like, you see me coaching a lot of other agencies and a lot of other coaches, which is weird, like to be coaching coaches on coaching, but take on a client together. Find someone who is your competitor and say, hey, I'd love to apprentice with you. I'd love to work with you because I don't have the name recognition, but I'd be a really great apprentice. You know, the apprentice model before the US-based kind of MBA program came into vogue in the last 100 years was all driven by apprentices. You want to be a blacksmith or a cobbler or an accountant or whatever, you learned from someone else and you did your apprenticeship there, and you should do the same thing. And a lot of agency owners and whoever, they apprentice with me because I can give them their first client, and then I'm watching over it to make sure it's not a disaster, right? So they can demonstrate and document that they're winning and doing a good job and use that to get more clients. If you're at that stage where you don't have anybody, you need a mentor, somebody who can not tell you because you know what you don't know, but it's what you don't know that will kill you. And so the apprentice model, the mentorship coaching model, is how you get that. Because all the information is now free because of Google and YouTube and ChatGPT. You can get that on the internet. You want to learn how to use this tool or learn how to cook a steak the right way, like, that's free. But knowing what you don't know, I don't think Google's going to tell you that, right? You need someone to look at that. Okay. Lucinda says, you make this sound so simple. It is, because it's like gravity. These are rules of the universe. It's not Dennis, you and Mark Lack made this up. I've been doing this for 30 years. I know I don't look that old, but I'm almost 50. I'm at the trampoline park too. Look, I'm at the freaking Sky Zone where they hold birthday parties here. Because Mark pinged me, said, hey, can you do the thing today? I'm like, yeah, happy to, but I'm going to be doing it from the trampoline park. Yeah, but you see the coaching model, the cool thing about coaching, like, I know all these coaches think that they're so different and they're suffering this unique kind of pain. Like, no, coaching is coaching. People hire you because they trust you. They see that you have a clear program. They can see it working for them. They believe that you're an honest, genuine person and you're there for them. You do not have to be the most expert person in the world, because they can go Google that stuff too. So you do it by building relationships, and other people can see that you're a good person and you follow through. And if there's something you don't know, then you're surrounded by all these other people who are experts. And that's it. I think people make it seem like it's this, you don't have to pretend to be some Superman to make a 7-figure business. You really don't. You really just need to create that content and $1 a day. And that's what we're teaching in this program. And that's what you see here. I didn't get a chance to go through all these. I think I got like 5 slides deep before I went into started taking questions and all that. But look at this. I could probably post this 139-page monster in the thing in the group. But look, when people are Googling for you, and I'll just go through the rest of the presentation so that way you know. I'm going to talk really, really fast. Okay, here we go. Just so you don't say that Dennis didn't cover the material. So you need to dominate on your name. And when you have co-created content and links to you, the SEO authority is good because Google looks for these votes. So if you don't have that, then co-create content with these other people demonstrating the result. There's all kinds of tools like CrowdTangle to find where these social shares are coming from. Get on other people's podcasts, interview them. You guys know that I have some very special relationships where I can promote stuff through social media, through tools that no one else has. Put them into the group, the Facebook group, our Mark Lack group, and then I'll promote that. It's all around these 4 stages. If you're at the stage with no clients, then interview other people who have served that client or who those clients respect. 15-minute interviews. Don't worry about being fancy with all the podcast equipment and whatever. Just literally get on Zoom and just declare that you have a podcast and you have a podcast, okay? Don't worry about all this other nonsense that people get hung up on, okay? When I started my podcast, I just decided, you know what? I have a podcast. Who wants to be on my podcast? And other people wanted to be, and they had just no idea. And I didn't have any idea either, but I started interviewing people, okay? And then you go through these 4 stages. Organize that content around this topic wheel, which is what the VAs do. And you'll see how these particular articles, like here, I interviewed Caleb, summarized his thing, and now he's ranking these keywords, and he has a DR61 link from Blitzmetrics. Blitzmetrics has got a lot of SEO power. For those that do SEO, this is in the top like 0.0001% of websites, very high power. When you have that vote for you, you start to rank on things. I repurpose stuff and turn them into tweets, and I take articles or take videos and chop them up, transcribe them, so they live on all these, here, LinkedIn, Twitter, same thing. I'm just repurposing, cross-posting it. It's all part of the content factory. Other people are talking about me. I made a video and this got posted on digitalmarketing.org, as you can see, where someone else is sharing it. And then I'm boosting their stuff, right? Here, literally, I said, I'm taking this Facebook post. Look, I made this Facebook post, right? Here it is. It's about SEO. And then it got turned into this article on digitalmarketing.org. And now I can share the article across all these other places. You see, I took one piece of content and I turned it into lots of pieces of content. It's like Mexican food, you know, that you have beans, chili, rice, cheese, ground chicken, and now you have tostadas, enchiladas, chalupas, gorditas, tostadas, you know, all that stuff. I don't believe Taco Bell's real Mexican food, but when I go to Mexico, I'll piss them off by saying, "Yo quiero Taco Bell." They get mad. But you can see I'm repurposing content. I'm constantly elevating other people, and I'm looking at what the SEO impact is, what drives leads and sales. $1 a day is how I do it. It's testing, especially coaches and consultants. I'm using other people's content. Brian Eisenberg, he's super well known, Golden State Warriors. I'm using what these other people have to say over and over, right? And here's the 6 steps. 1, digital plumbing. Tie your data together. Google Tag Manager. URL parameters, okay? Goals. Well, I'm going to get my first 3 clients. I want to grow from 10,000 a month to 50,000 a month. I want to be able to not have to work so hard. I need an operations manager. Okay, whatever it is. But the goals need to be tied back to the data, so that way you're not just making stuff up and you can hold yourself accountable. Then that ties to your content, because the goals are measuring your content. So when you put content out, the first stage is the 10% rule, like we talked about. But after that, it needs to convert, right? And you might think what's good, and you don't. You let the data tell you. So I take a long form piece of content, like I interview somebody. The beginning is edification. So in the beginning, hey, today in the studio, we're so happy to have Dennis Yu because blah, 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 blah. Okay. There's always edification in the beginning. Then in the middle, you're asking or answering questions. And at the end, you have these different hooks where they say some good things and maybe some edification. All long form content can be chopped into these pieces, especially if you're the host. If you're not the host, and hopefully it's a decent host that interviews you, they'll know how to ask questions in such a way that you can pull out these other components. Is everyone clear? Like this, when you take long form content, this is how you chop it into different pieces. Then it gets turned into 1-minute videos that get repurposed into articles and YouTubes and all that. This is where a VA comes in. You can be the VA first if your time is worth $3 an hour, or you just, get a certified VA that's gone through this, and you'll see this is what you do. That's step 3 in content, all the different ways of repurposing content. And then targeting is based on custom audiences. Remember, we talked about this rule of 10 thing, right? Why 10? Well, we need 10% engagement. One piece of content can be chopped into 10 pieces. It's like 10x. You then start spending $10 a day. I've got lots of examples of where this has worked, not just with important people, but just ordinary people, right? And that's what my ads are. One of these 10 ads are a winner to get the 10%. And then I let them run forever. And I continue to play winner stay on to try to find other ones that do better. And this is the whole tools-based view of this whole system. And you start out with your podcast, people that are not that well known. So it's medium proof or no proof, because you're interviewing someone else, but it's their proof. People that are not as well known on websites, you're not as famous, you're not doing public speaking yet or whatnot. Maybe it's just, in your bedroom or kitchen table, you're interviewing other people. But as you increase that authority, you start to level up and get more content that you can then play with and repurpose. So then you start to have this portfolio. It's like a stock portfolio, not a crypto one where it goes down, but a real one that goes up. And you can see that we're amplifying, right? So digital plumbing, get the goals, the content. Targeting, the systems handle that for us, but you need to know who your core audience is, so that, which really influences your content. That's where the targeting comes in, not that you're micro-targeting the ad side. And then amplifying, which is running $1 a day. Boost your top posts across these different channels, not just Facebook, but mainly Facebook and Google to start. And then you can start tuning. Tuning is applying our framework called MAA, which is how you find winners. $1 a day is ultimately a testing strategy, but until you get the plumbing in place, have your content out there, you're measuring where leads are coming from, you figure out what content's resonating the best, you can't really start to optimize. Optimization is the most powerful stage of this whole thing. So I put this whole thing together, and if you want to be in our program, I created this thing that lots of people have come through, but you could just go through all the training as well. That's totally cool too. Come to these, group calls if you want. But if you want to join, it's here at blitzmetrics.com/dad. And if you join today, I'll interview you on my podcast. which will give you some credibility. You got to give me 3 questions that you want to be known for. But that's $1 a day, right? That's the coaching program. But if you want the courses, those are all in here as well. Any of these courses that you want, it's a course on building courses. Look, here's the $1 a day course, $4.97, but give it to you free. You just have to send a note to Stephanie@blitzmetrics.com saying, I love Mark Lack and Ryan Nadig, and say, I want the $1 a day course. Give it to me for free. And we'll give it to you. Like any of these courses, we'll give it to you. If you want the coaching though, that's blitzmetrics.com/DAD, right? So I would say, choose the thing that you want to do. Do you want to start by going through the courses and the exercises and do it yourself? Totally fine. You want to go through a structured 6-week program where we help you? That's cool too. So I'll leave it at that. How can I be of service for you guys? You tell me.
Can
Ben
you
wants to replay.
can you put in the chat what it is we're supposed to do to get your course?
Message Stephanie@blitzmetrics.com. I think Ryan put it here in the chat like 1 minute ago. Just Stephanie@blitzmetrics. Yep, there it is. Email Stephanie@blitzmetrics.com. Subject line, I love Mark Lack. And say in the email, please grant me access to the $1 a day course. Any tips, says Donald, for how to ask for testimonials? You don't ask for testimonials. You say, hey, I'd love to interview you on my podcast as a success story, and I want to elevate you, right? Hey guys, today we have David Hanlon, and I've known David Hanlon for a few years. I'm going to ask him his best tips on how to find a good black cowboy hat, like Ed Harris in Westworld. Whatever it is, you want to have set the right vibe. And then in the course of them telling their story, so what was that challenge you faced initially? And how were you feeling when that happened? And tell me about kind of what was going on in your mind at that point. Oh, I had this problem, and then I worked with Donald, and this is kind of what happened. And oh, okay, cool, you did. So what kind of walk me through the process of what happened. First you did this, then you did this, then this happened. And what were some of the challenges you had along the way? Oh, well, we had this challenge and that challenge. Okay, but how'd you overcome them? Well, like this. What other advice would you have for other people that are like in your situation, Donald? What do you think? Oh, well, I would say, this and that. Oh, thank you so much. And blah blah blah. You see what I'm saying? Like I'm gathering a testimonial, but I'm not. But the minute you poison it by saying, oh, I want a testimonial, and then you put it on your website and it says testimonial from Donald, it's like you've just you might as well put trustworthy person endorsing my product. Like, don't do that. Okay. You see, I'm asking for a testimonial, but in a way that doesn't sound so ugh. You know what I mean? Because I'm elevating them, and that no one wants to be sold to, right? We can see through that, right? And if you do want my program, it's blitzmetrics.com/dad. If you get it today, you got to always have a fast acting bonus for people to take action. I'll interview you on my podcast at my expense and promote it at my expense.
And how much is it again?
$2,500 for 6 weeks. Now, if you do that, it's on me to make sure you're successful, but not, magic wand genie, grant every wish, but based on what you have done already to get more success. Like the whole point of amplification is what's working well. I want to get more out of that. Maybe it's your content strategy. Maybe you need to make your first videos. Maybe you need to launch your podcast. Maybe you've never run ads before. Maybe you're scared on Zoom, whatever it might be. Kurt asks, as you've been coaching coaches about Blitzmetrics topics, what do you recommend for coaching training? Coaches suffer from the cobbler's son has no shoes issue. And most of them, I'm not saying people in this group, but most of them talk about stuff they have no idea. There's no proof. There's no clear structure behind it. Or they try to coach everybody because it's on some soft thing like how to overcome, fear or something. Well, it needs to be a very specific audience that you have a very specific, clear, measurable goal that is easily worth $10,000, $20,000 to them. It has to be a very specific outcome that's measurable. And other people can say, yeah, David Hanlon does that. Like I want that same result too. The result has to be super clear, and your path to it has to be clear. Most coaches are not clear because they're solopreneurs, and they need clients so bad they'll take anybody for anything. right? So just, you gotta, Chick-fil-A makes chicken sandwiches, right? Get that niche. All right. You guys are amazing. Hey, any questions, just holler in the group. I monitor that group all the time. Anything I can do for you guys. I mean, Ryan, we've done how many of these? Got to be like 12 or 15 by now. Yeah. Anything I can do for you. Happy to share all my knowledge. But you guys as coaches, no, share your knowledge for free, charge for your time, for your value, right? Don't be ashamed of your value. Awesome. You're the best. Yeah, you got the Shorten the Gap Facebook group. See you guys all there. All right, guys. Love you all.